Hello class, this is Mr. G here, and we're about to measure some batteries. Already today or yesterday you should have learned what the amps, volts, and ohms are measured in. If you look here, we have our symbols for amps should be an A, volts will be a V, and ohms will be your omega sign. Now, we also know that depending on what we're measuring, we need to be set in, are we measuring direct current, DC, or are we measuring alternating current, AC? Because we're measuring a battery, we want to be measuring in direct current. So the symbols that we're going to be looking for are the A with the line and the 3 dots, and the V with the line and the 3 dots. When measuring resistance and ohms, it does not matter if it is AC or DC. We do not measure resistance when the power is on. So we don't have to worry about that. We're going to look at our multimeter here. Now the multimeter, if you look, we can see we can measure all sorts. We can measure volts. As you can see, we have direct current and alternating current. We can measure our amps, as you see, amps with direct current. We can measure our resistance. You see our omega sign here for ohms. And then there are some other things we can do, and we're not going to get into that. So what we want to look at is first measuring in volts. Before we do that, we need to plug in our leads. Our leads are these things right here, which we will be putting on to the battery. We need to take this right here, the plugs, and put them into the right port. So first, the black wire will always go into the COM port, COM. Your red cord now, we want to measure volts right away. So we're going to make sure we find the volt. See the V? And that's going to be into this port right here. And then I'm going to plug that in right there. Make sure that you press them both in nice and tight. Now, because we're going to measure volts, we need to measure it with a battery in direct current. So we're going to set it to the V, direct current, and we're going to go to 20. Now, I take my battery. Red is going to be positive. Black is going to be negative. If I look at my battery, I have a positive side, and then the other side will always be negative. It will always mark it positive. So I'm going to take these, and I'm going to hold them here. And if you look, I get a reading on my battery that says 1.29. So you take your pencil, we'd mark the AA battery. So a AA battery. And then we are going to say that was 1.29 volts direct current. Now let's say I want to measure in my amps the current. So now I need to find my symbol, and I got to measure it over to amps, and we're going to go to 10A. Now, if you notice, I look at my port and I'm looking for 10A. That means I need to move my red wire over to 10A. I'm going to go to my negative and positive, and I find that I have 0.7 it's going down a little bit, so we'll go 0.75 amps. So 0.75 amps direct current. What you'll need to do is do this for all the other batteries that you have. Hopefully you have like a D battery or a 9-volt battery. And check. Compare your volts and your amps. And good luck.